One day, mysterious gates began appearing all across the globe. Far from a blessing, these anomalies marked the beginning of a cataclysm that would change human destiny forever. At this time, our boy Eugene Han was just an ordinary guy working back-breaking jobs to pay for his brother's tuition. He was exhausted, but mentioning his talented brother always brought a proud smile to his face. Peace didn't last long though. While out on a delivery, an ominous gate fractured open right above the busy city, filling the air with a sense of impending doom. Before anyone could react, a terrifying winged monster tore through the truck's roof. Our boy's heart dropped as the shadow of death instantly loomed over the entire crew. The city turned into a living hell in seconds. Countless monsters poured from the gates, ruthlessly attacking the panicked crowds as the world as they knew it collapsed. Pushed into a corner, Eugene grabbed a wooden stick to fight back, but he could only watch in horror as people were mangled by the beasts. This feeling of helplessness would haunt him forever. In that moment of despair, a strange power began to awaken within select individuals. To Eugene's shock, his beloved younger brother manifested a mysterious black flame, awakening as a top-tier hunter. Fast forward 8 years, and hunters have become the new norm. However, Eugene is now looked down upon as a useless parasite, and this is where our story truly begins. In this age of awakeners, the gap between people is staggering. While Eugene is hailed as an S-rank genius, our boy is stuck in a messy apartment, watching news of other hunters making it big. But being a hunter is no fairy tale. News of casualties hits the screen shortly after. Meanwhile, dungeon gates continue to tear open across the city, their purple glow signaling more chaos to come. To make ends meet, our boy joins a low-level raid team under the radar. But even laying low doesn't stop Sequa Lim from picking a fight, using his higher rank to mock our guy's famous brother. Faced with blatant bullying, our boy is stomped into the ground, left to curl up in pain. No one steps in to help. Instead, they watch like it's a show. The cold reality of this world is suffocating. Battered and bleeding, our boy doesn't give up. He endures the condescending healing and even forces a humble smile to shake hands unbeknownst to them. His plan is already in motion. Seizing the handshake, our boy activates his system interface. Since they call him a blood-sucking parasite anyway, he decides to lean into it, marking Sequa with custodianship a literal kiss of death. Once inside the dungeon, the scene is eerie, filled with twisted vines and fierce monsters. The raid team manages for now, but a chilling scent of blood lingers heavily in the air. In this arrogant team, our boy is treated like free labor, mining crystals while enduring their constant insults. He's like a modern-day Cinderella, silently waiting for the moment his luck turns. The path ahead is fraught with danger, yet the team remains blissfully unaware. As they push forward with their own agendas, a true terror is quietly waking up in the depths of the dungeon. Our boy used to live a complete nightmare. As a bottom-tier F-ranker, he was drowned in debt and mocked as a parasite, with even his own brother looking down on him. But you might wonder, how did a weak F-ranker survive the meat grinder of dungeons for so long? It all comes down to his seemingly gentle, yet subtle title. With the title The Perfect Caregiver, he could perform miracles when supporting others. For years, he survived by staying in the shadows and assisting the strong. However, that title hid an incredibly dark skill. It was our boy's absolute last resort, a power he truly hated having to use. Suddenly, the routine D-rank dungeon mutates into a living hell. As his teammates fall one by one, that long-dormant, terrifying skill is finally triggered. The skill Final Farewell allows him to inherit double the stats of a fallen target. Tragically, it means his allies' deaths become the stairs to his sudden power-up. Amidst the screams, the Tier 1 dragon Rachitas appears. This legendary, invincible beast wipes out the entire raid party in an instant, leaving only despair in its wake. Staring at the nightmare-inducing three-headed dragon, our boy is paralyzed. This wasn't a D-rank raid anymore. It was a one-way trip to the afterlife. To stay alive, he pushes aside his grief and activates his newly inherited, doubled skills. In this life-or-death moment, he must use this blood-stained power to snatch a chance at survival. Facing the brutal monster, our boy is completely powerless. Battered and bruised, he tumbles across the jagged rocks, losing his cane and watching helplessly as his allies risk their lives just to buy him a few more seconds. His crippled legs make escape impossible. Staring into the monster's gaping maw, our boy is consumed by despair. But just as he cries out in terror, a blinding flash and a violent explosion suddenly tear through the battlefield. It's his brother Yuhyun. At the brink of death, he's forced his way into the dungeon to save him. Our boy is stunned as Yuhyun shields him, instantly activating his skills and blurring into a blue streak toward the three-headed beast. Is this the true power of an S-rank hunter? Every one of Yuhyun's strikes ripples with devastating purple energy, moving faster than the eye can follow. Our boy watches in awe at the power he once dreamed of, but could never reach. However, the dragon's breath is as cursed as it is deadly. Even as strong as he is, Yuhyun struggles while trying to protect his brother. His movements slow down, and a red blade pierces his shoulder, leaving our boy paralyzed with fear. Overwhelming guilt washes over our boy. He can't stand seeing his brother suffer for a useless person like him, so he lashes out, trying to push Yuhyun away. Even as Yuhyun scolds him, he can only think one thing: this is all my fault. Despite his brother's despair, Yuhyun refuses to give up. He pushes through the pain, using his own body to shield our boy from the aftershocks. Watching that resolute back, our boy finally breaks down in tears, suffocated by his brother's devotion. The battle reaches its tragic climax. Amidst a world-ending explosion, Yuhyun lets out a desperate cry. Can this bond, forged in blood and sacrifice, truly save them both? The gears of fate are beginning to shatter. In a desperate moment, Yuhyun shields our boy with his own body, taking a fatal blow from the poisonous dragon as blood splatters across the floor. Clutching his brother, our boy flashes back to their childhood after losing their parents. The two who once had only each other are now facing a tragic end amidst fire and ruins. Enduring the pain, Yuhyun struggles to explain the monster's patterns and forces the only gate stone into our boy's hands, desperate for his brother to survive. With a final, weak goodbye, Yuhyun's body goes limp. Our boy cries out his brother's name in agony, but the one who always protected him is gone. The moment Yuhyun passes, our boy's special title triggers a skill called Final Thanks. Amidst a blinding blue light, all of his brother's powers begin to transfer to him. Feeling a surge of power that exceeds even S rank, our boy is filled with nothing but regret and rage. He picks up a weapon, his gaze turning cold as he faces the beast. Now possessing double the strength of an S ranker, our boy strikes like lightning. The dragon that once seemed invincible is now full of openings before his eyes. In the midst of this overwhelming counterattack, our boy absorbs his brother's memories. He realizes their years of estrangement were just a masked Yuhyun war to keep him safe. Yuhyun's desperate plea to stay away from dungeons breaks our boy's heart. Looking at the files, he realizes his brother was his silent guardian all along. As rain washes over the ruins, our boy stands alone in the dark. Despite his world-altering power, he has only one goal: to restart everything, no matter the cost. Battered and bruised, our boy has somehow managed to slay a dragon solo. This impossible feat earns him the legendary title of Dragon Slayer, but looking at the rewards, he can only laugh at how blind he used to be. Given a wish for his victory, his only thought is to bring his brother back. Since the dead cannot be resurrected, he chooses to turn back time, risking everything to rewrite their tragic fate and prevent the coming disaster. With a flash of light, our guy snaps awake on a familiar sofa. One look at his phone confirms the impossible. He's actually back 5 years in the past, waking up on the very day of his awakening ceremony. Just then, a familiar voice calls out. Seeing his brother alive and still acting like his usual cold self is too much for our boy. He throws aside his pride and pulls Yuhyun into a desperate, tearful hug. As Yuhyun stands there utterly confused, our boy pours his heart out through his tears. Remembering the crushing loneliness his brother once endured, he vows to be the support Yuhyun always deserved from now on. Gazing at his younger brother, our boy finally finds peace and a gentle smile. But the reunion is interrupted by a system alert. He's kept his titles, and even gained a new one, the legendary Perfect Custodian. With his new OP support skills, our boy is ready to take a back seat. He's already in the kitchen whipping up dinner, and while the vibe is a bit awkward, his brother is clearly soaking up the unexpected pampering. Back to this exact day 5 years ago, it was supposed to be the day they had a massive fight. But this time, our boy chooses to stay calm, watching his brother in the kitchen. The tension is there, but at least the tragedy hasn't started yet. Taking a moment to himself, our boy quickly pulls up his status window. To his absolute shock, he's awakened a legendary L-grade title, Dragon Slayer. That's even higher than S rank. Is he finally about to become the ultimate protagonist? Then, for glowing skills pop up all L-grade resistances, plus a specialized bane against high-level monsters. Our boy is getting hyped, thinking this is the perfect setup to reach the top and become the world's strongest hunter. He's already imagining himself tearing through dragons and leading the charge. In his head, Even the deadliest poisons and curses are nothing more than a breeze thanks to his resistances. His brother's eyes are filled with pure admiration. However, reality hits him like a freight train. Despite the flashy title, his pathetic base stats show he's still just a weak F ranker. The massive gap between fantasy and reality cools his excitement instantly. A bit discouraged, our boy keeps scrolling and finds that aside from the scary title, the rest of his skills are bizarre. Final thanks, Super Nani, and even Who's a Good Boy. The vibe shifts from epic battle to professional babysitting. The core skill is keyword guidance, which can multiply a target's potential just by saying a specific word. Our boy realizes if he uses this on a group of high rankers, he could build an invincible army of hunters. He starts daydreaming about living a retired tycoon's life, surrounded by the world's strongest hunters and endless riches. If he can just raise his brother and other geniuses, he can rule from the shadows as the ultimate mastermind. But then he sees the actual keyword, and his heart sinks. It's I love you. The thought of professing his love to a bunch of tough hunters makes him want to crawl into a hole. He's genuinely worried he'll be arrested as a creep. While our boy is lost in his existential crisis, Yu-Yun brings over dinner. Looking at the feast and his brother's gentle smile, our boy breaks into a cold sweat. The skill is powerful, but the cost might just be his social survival. While our boy enjoys a quiet meal, the conversation turns to the dark side of the hunter world, like poisoned food. It triggers a painful flashback for him, reminding him of the harsh life he survived. This is the path our boy chose for himself. Over a warm meal, he shares a rare emotional moment with his friend, finding comfort in the kind of companionship he hasn't felt in a long time. The peaceful break ends as his friend heads back to work. Our boy waves him off, promising to clean up and ready to tackle his own plans. However, life is about to throw him a massive curveball. Our boy gets hit with a bombshell. His brother, Yu-Hyun, is putting him under house arrest. Shocked by the sudden lockdown, he realizes his brother's protective instincts have officially gone into overdrive. To make it official, Yu-Hyun has all of our boy's belongings moved into the guild HQ. Trapped by his brother's logic and excessive care, he's left screaming in frustration within his high-rise golden cage. Not one to give up easily, our boy tries to sneak out, but he's immediately caught by the A-rank guard, Kim Sun-han. Standing there like an immovable wall, the guard is clearly not letting anyone pass. Facing an A-rank's terrifying aura, our boy feels like prey in front of a predator. But just as the fear starts to overwhelm him, his legendary resistance skill kicks in, chilling his nerves back to normal. Facing this reckless guy, our boy doesn't back down for a second, grabbing him right back by the collar. He's not just picking a fight, he's using his skill to see if this man is worth his time. Talk about a hidden gem. Our boy discovers the guy has a locked S-rank skill. Desperate to find out how to trigger it, he starts poking and prodding the poor guy's face, leaving him completely baffled. When physical prodding fails, our boy tries a cringe-worthy finger-heart approach to win him over. Instead of activating the skill, he almost scares the guy away, making things awkward even for himself. After a long day, our boy collapses at home to rethink his strategy. His brother Yu-Hyun is incredibly protective, but Eugene knows that to survive this world, he needs to build a powerhouse team of his own. No time to waste. Our boy starts scouring records using his memories from the future. He's hunting for diamond in the rough hunters, who haven't made it big yet, planning to recruit future legends early. Picturing a squad of S-rankers in his mind, our boy can't help but smirk. He excitedly tells his brother that he's going out to find his own personal bodyguard and he's aiming for A rank at the very least. To get his overprotective brother to let him out, our boy spins a half-truth about awakening a prediction skill. He plays the humble F-rank card perfectly, trying to ease his brother's constant worry. Knowing Yu-Hyun's weakness, he acts like a helpless F-ranker who just relies on gut feelings, finally managing to secure a bit of freedom to move around on his own. Our boy's ambitions are huge. He's already dreaming of a life surrounded by max-level hunters. Since he's determined to be the ultimate caregiver, the first step is to go out and scout some talent. Suddenly, the top-tier hunter Kim Sun-han appears in the city center. His presence draws shocked gasps from the crowd. While our boy calmly walks behind him, the real show is about to begin. Even though our boy is still technically F-rank, he's not sweating it. With a cool billion from his brother, it's time to gear up and start his legendary pay-to-win journey. He loads up on stat-boosting jewelry and enchanted gloves. His base stats might be low, but high-tier gear makes up for it. Finally, our guy is feeling a bit more battle-ready. Shopping spree over, our boy heads to his next destination. He's on a mission to find the future Ice Witch, Yeren Park, before she officially awakens her powers. The night market is buzzing, and our guy is hunting for his target while snacking on skewers. The food is great, but he can't afford to miss the person who'll change the future. Suddenly, a familiar figure darts past. Before Kim can even blink, our boy shoves his skewers into Kim's hands and sprints after her. That's definitely a young Yeren Park. The girl is fast, and our boy is struggling to keep up. When he sees her heading toward traffic, he panics. Even as an F rank, he has to risk everything to stop her. After a chaotic tumble, they both hit the pavement. It wasn't exactly a heroic landing, and the crowd is staring, but at least he managed to intercept the future S rank. To break the ice, our boy treats her to a high-end Korean barbecue feast. Watching her dive into the premium beef, he knows a good meal is the fastest way to earn her trust. When she tries to leave, our boy drops a white lie about knowing her parents to keep her interested. He then reveals his backing from the Hang Guild, offering her a new life. Our boy is patiently guiding the young genius Yeren through her contract. Looking at that glowing, specially made dungeon parchment, she's completely mesmerized, unaware of how her life is about to change. While reviewing the terms, our boy warns Yeren not to let any shady guardians rip her off. Seeing her emotional reaction, he knows her greedy uncle is going to be a serious problem. Right on cue, that deadbeat uncle storms in and starts getting physical, trying to drag Yeren away. Even though he's not a powerhouse, our boy isn't about to back down from a bully. Seeing the guy escalate, our boy pulls a pro move and takes a calculated fall. Suddenly, the surrounding crowd is fuming, turning their collective judgment on the aggressive uncle. Grabbed by the collar, our boy plays the victim, perfectly fake tears and all. He's got the uncle completely stunned and trapped by public opinion, making any defense look like an excuse. Once he's set the stage, our boy trips the guy and slams his face right into the table. This accidental counterattack leaves the villain hurt, and Yeren absolutely impressed by his cleverness. But just then, disaster strikes. The ground shakes violently, as a massive black monster erupts from the earth. This sudden dungeon break sends the entire street into a state of pure panic. Staring at the destruction, our boy is genuinely shocked. This didn't happen in his past life. Could his return have triggered an unpredictable butterfly effect? It seems the real trouble is just beginning. A sudden dungeon break turns the peaceful streets into a war zone. As Kim Sung-han fights to hold back the beast, our boy navigates the chaos, wondering how such a disaster could happen here. Amidst the panicked crowd, young Yeren trips and falls. With explosions rocking the ground and the monster closing in, she's left vulnerable in the heart of the chaos. At the critical moment, our boy grabs Yeren and directs everyone toward the underground shelter. However, the monster's massive shadow looms over them, making escape look nearly impossible. Kim Sung-han is powerful, but his skills are built for defense, not area attacks. Against this massive, agile beast, he struggles to land a decisive blow, and the battle begins to stall. Seeing the devastation, Yeren begs our boy to help her awaken her powers. But without a signed contract and fearing the risks, he hesitates, leading to a tense standoff amidst the flames. With no time to lose, our boy dashes toward Kim Sung-han, shouting for him to pivot his shield strategy. It sounds crazy, but in this desperate situation, it might be their only shot. Sung-han unleashes his full power, manifesting a massive runic array that shakes the earth. Instead of just blocking, he uses the shield to forcibly trap the monster in a confined field. With the beast trapped, our boy leaps through the debris. He pulls out the black poison sacks he's been saving, planning to turn that shield into a lethal gas chamber for the monster. Just as he's about to throw the poison, our boy freezes. The space behind the rocks is completely empty. The monster is gone. A sudden, chilling realization washes over him. Our boy is caught off guard by a sudden monster attack in the sewers. While he's being tossed around by tentacles and shouting for Yeren to run, the girl remains surprisingly calm under pressure. Yeren is deeply moved by the way our boy risked his life to protect her. She realizes she doesn't want to be a helpless victim anymore, and decides to become strong enough to stand on her own. Driven by her resolve, Yeren asks our boy to teach her how to fight. Suddenly, a massive surge of icy energy erupts, and the fierce monsters find themselves completely overwhelmed by her latent power. Facing a massive serpent-like monster, Yeren doesn't flinch. Watching her fight with such excitement and confidence, our boy realizes the girl has officially awakened as a formidable S-rank hunter. As the battlefield shifts, our boy activates his Sandals of Hermes skill to navigate the chaos. Amidst shattering golden shields and blinding energy, he struggles to stay afloat in the intense struggle. Just then, the ultimate powerhouse arrives. Our boy's brother, Han, makes a grand entrance, wiping out every threat with a single, massive pillar of fire that completely incinerates the enemy. With the danger gone, Yun scolds his brother out of pure worry. However, our boy stays cool, already introducing the newly awakened Yerim as their guild's latest S-rank recruit to secure their future. Our boy patiently explains the concept of a legal guardian, which essentially means acting as a parent to Yerim. She's completely stunned, having never expected someone to offer more than just financial support. Suddenly, the overprotective younger brother Yun bursts in, flatly refusing to allow it. The atmosphere turns tense instantly, but Yerim stands her ground, hilariously insisting she's actually a very nice girl. In the heat of the argument, Yerim accidentally loses control of her strength and hits our boy. Seeing him in pain and asking to be left alone, Yerim is filled with guilt while the brother panics. Pushing through the pain, our boy sends his meddling brother away to talk to Yerim privately. Despite her grumpy attitude, seeing his persistence causes her defensive walls to start crumbling down. Amidst the rubble, our boy gently kneels to put Yerim's shoe back on, promising to buy her a new pair tomorrow. This simple act of genuine care deeply touches the heart of the lonely girl. Even though Yerim almost takes our boy out again, while swatting a fly, he stays calm. He admits he's doing this because he's been through the same struggles and wants to be the support she needs. His heartfelt words finally break through Yerim's shell. As the system notification pings, she officially responds to the keyword, placing the S-rank genius girl under our boy's dedicated care. Before they can even catch their breath, Yerim's greedy uncle arrives, feigning concern. Behind his fake smile and tears, it's obvious he's only interested in the fortune her new S-rank status can bring. Facing the uncle's threats, our boy reveals he's been recording everything. He doesn't hold back against such trash. While Yerim sees the truth, he secures the evidence needed to strip the man's guardianship for good. Just as the uncle starts his pathetic attempt at a scam, Yerim snaps. Her umbrella glows with chilling energy, unleashing a terrifying pressure that sends the man into a state of pure panic. With a chilling smile, Yerim crushes the umbrella handle like it's nothing. The sheer intensity of her S-rank aura is so overwhelming that it even triggers our boy's resist fear skill. Towering over her pathetic relative, Yerim warns him that he's not worth her time. She makes it clear, if he ever bothers them again, he'll end up just like that mangled umbrella. Once the trash is handled, Yerim turns back into a cheerful girl, looking for praise. But back at home, our boy is in for a shock when his brother, Yun, bursts in early the next morning. Yun demands something immediately, catching our boy off guard. But before a fight can start, the cold S-ranker pulls his brother into a tight, desperate hug, revealing his hidden vulnerability. Feeling his brother tremble, our boy realizes how much Yun has been suppressing his fear for his safety. In this quiet moment, the long-standing wall between the two brothers finally crumbles away. Moving forward with his plans, our boy heads to the training center. While Director Sook handles the paperwork, the young ice witch has been training all night, rapidly adapting to her newfound powers. Stepping into the training hall, our boy watches Yerim dance through a storm of ice crystals. It's clear that under his guidance, the ice witch is evolving into a force that will soon shake the world. Just a moment ago, Yerim was pinned down and unable to move. But the second she activated her skill, she unleashed a devastating stomp that completely shattered the ground. With a massive boom, a surge of blue energy erupted. Under our boy's careful guidance, Yerim's hidden potential was finally becoming a force to be reckoned with. Seeing Yerim's transformation, our boy couldn't help but feel proud. After all, she wasn't just a new S-rank hunter, she was the cornerstone of his grand plan. As they reviewed her skills, our boy decided to keep some of her powers hidden for now. It's always better to keep the world guessing and save an ace for later. The plan worked perfectly, and Yerim soon became the center of a media frenzy. Watching her handle the cameras, our boy kept a watchful eye from the background. Disguised in the crowd, our boy knew that Yerim's fame was only the beginning. The road ahead was long, and he had to be even more calculated in his moves. Suddenly, our boy spotted a new opportunity. He reached out and caught a panicked young man, marking the start of yet another encounter that would change history. While out and about, our boy runs into a discouraged Myungwoo. But the moment he checks his stats, he's floored. This unassuming guy actually possesses the legendary SS rank master of the golden smithy potential. Staring at this unpolished diamond, our guy is already dreaming of the future. He realizes that if he can help Myungwoo unlock this skill, the entire world will be lining up to throw money at them. Seeing Myungwoo's insecurity as an F rank, our boy relates all too well to that sting of rejection. The elite hunters nearby look down on them, unaware that a true genius is standing right there. Noticing Myungwoo's despair, our guy offers a heartfelt pep talk, insisting that he's an incredibly valuable person. Myungwoo, who's never heard such kindness, is instantly moved to tears by the sincere validation. Over cheap coffee, our boy listens as Myungwoo recounts his past struggles with school and poverty. He's lived at the bottom for so long, but in our guy's eyes, those trials are just fuel for greatness. Our guy goes into full hype man mode, boldly declaring that they're both untapped powerhouses. His infectious energy finally brings a smile to Myungwoo's face, planting a new seed of hope in his heart. Then, Director Suk from the Hanging Guild appears with his usual cold, profit-driven attitude, even making dismissive hypothetical remarks about F ranks. Watching this heartless bureaucrat, our boy starts keeping a mental tab. Despite the director's arrogance, Myungwoo has found his resolve. He thanks our boy with a genuine smile, empowered by the simple truth of being valued. The legendary blacksmith's journey has finally begun. While our boy and Myungwoo are walking, a black car screeches to a halt right in front of them. A group of thugs hops out, acting like they're Myungwoo's best buddies while demanding he settle his debts. These guys don't waste any time getting physical, grabbing Myungwoo's things and trying to drag him off. Our boy plays along, acting terrified while asking who they are, but the thugs just laugh him off. Eventually, both of them are hauled into the car. Inside, our boy keeps up the act, pretending to be scared out of his wits. Seeing him so submissive, the thugs think they've hit the jackpot with 2 easy targets. Our boy acts like he's totally sold on their great job offer. In reality, he knows exactly what's going on. It's a classic mining scam designed to exploit low-rank hunters in dangerous dungeons. The car soon pulls up to a shady hideout. As soon as they enter, our boy is roughed up and shoved to the floor. A quick look around reveals a den filled with empty bottles and weapons. The thugs are ruthless, beating other victims right in front of them before shoving a predatory contract into our boy's face. They want those fingerprints to turn them into permanent slave labor. The scarred boss smugly waves the magical contract, promising them a measly 20% cut. As the villains roar with laughter, our boy acts anxious, but he's likely already planning a little surprise for them. Faced with a contract that shamelessly exploits hunters, our boy rips it to shreds on the spot. Even though breaching it triggers a curse, his boldness leaves the mob boss completely stunned. Before they can react, our boy strikes first with a brutal knee to the gut. He proves that being F-rank doesn't make him a pushover, using his strategic items to dominate the brawl. Seeing they aren't backing down, our boy calmly calls Kim Sung-han. Suddenly, the ground trembles as the A-rank powerhouse bursts onto the scene to handle the situation. An A-ranker's power is truly on another level. Sung-han mows through the crowd effortlessly, incapacitating every thug in the room before taking his place as our boy's shield. It turns out our boy was narrating his location the entire time. A desperate thug tries a sneak attack with a knife, completely unaware of the massive power gap between them. The knife doesn't even leave a scratch on Sung-han's skin. The thugs finally realize they've messed with the wrong monster, and their will to fight evaporates instantly. With the threat gone, our boy picks up the shady documents to give the villains a taste of their own medicine. He offers the boss a 50-year contract that's essentially a life sentence. Fed up with these scumbags who treat low-rank hunters as disposable tools, our boy finally lets his rage explode. He delivers justice, making sure the villains pay for their cruelty. After settling the local mess, our boy flashes his trademark friendly smile. He gives the guy a firm pat on the head while explaining the rules, completely dominating the atmosphere. As night falls and they head back, the weight of everything finally hits. Yerim suddenly bursts into tears and tackles our boy with a massive hug, leaving him both surprised and touched. Back at the luxury apartment, our boy shows Myungwoo his new quarters. While Myungwoo is stunned by the high-end setup, Yerim has already crashed and is fast asleep. With the kids settled, our boy heads out only to run into Kim Sung-han. The poor guy looks terrified, clearly traumatized by the younger brother's overprotective tendencies. To build rapport, our boy takes Sung-han to a bar. The staff treats them like royalty, and before long, the table is filled with snacks and drinks as they settle in for a talk. After a few drinks, the usually stoic Sung-han starts to open up. He admits he once saw our boy as a mere distraction for the guild leader, but that's clearly changed. Thinking back on how our boy risked everything to help the team, Sung-han's respect is visible. He no longer sees just a brother, but a leader worth following. The two clink glasses, discussing the dangers and plans ahead. It's a long road, but having such a loyal ally by his side means our boy is winning the long game. To bond with Kim Sung-han, our boy brings up their shared past. Realizing they were both raised by their grandfathers, a strong sense of mutual understanding begins to form between them. As the atmosphere heats up, they raise their glasses for a toast. Our boy claims he's a lightweight, but the way he's keeping up tells a different story. Our boy wonders why he's still sober until he realizes his poison-resistant skill is filtering out the alcohol. In a bold move, he decides to manually switch it off. The moment the skill is off, the alcohol hits him like a truck, leading to an instant blackout. He wakes up the next morning with a splitting headache, regretting everything. While nursing his hangover, the Super Nani skill notification suddenly pops up. Our boy is completely baffled, having no memory of the chaos he caused the night before. The thoughtful Myung-woo brings over some juice and offers a massage. Our boy thinks he just had a normal night out, unaware that the embarrassing truth is about to be revealed. It turns out our boy became a completely different person last night. He grabbed onto Kim Sung-han and started shouting confessions of love, creating a truly awkward scene. Surprisingly, Sung-han found it heartwarming, but our boy wants to disappear. He apparently told the man "I love you" dozens of times in his drunken stupor. It didn't stop there, he even hugged a random elderly man on the street while crying. His cool image is officially shattered, replaced by his new reputation as a drunken love confessor. The system triggered a notification. Kim Sung-han responded to our boy's keyword and is now officially under his custody. However, the sudden skill effect triggered a strange association in Kim Sung-han's mind. He asked our boy, somewhat confused, if it was because our boy reminded him of his grandfather. Faced with this question, our boy was momentarily speechless. Kim Sung-han, on the other hand, explained this sudden urge to care for him and earnestly asked if he could just stay by his side. Faced with such sincerity from an S-ranker, our boy couldn't help but think deeply. Was the true effect of the perfect custodian skill to raise others like a guardian? Thinking it through, many things started to make sense. It explained why Yerim Park and Myung-woo had instinctively grown so attached and reliant on him before. Soon, however, the peaceful moment was shattered. The door smashed open as an energetic yet slightly traumatized voice burst into the room. It was Yerim, who had been thoroughly spooked by Kim Sung-han's dramatic morning routine. Still shaken, she noticed him standing close to our boy and instantly grew suspicious. A few days later, while basking in the newfound care, our boy had to seriously examine this skill. It felt like a high-level form of mental interference, even earning absolute trust from S-rankers. It was incredibly useful, yet carried an undercurrent of chilling danger. As it turned out, Myung-woo had practically become a super butler, preparing lavish meals for our boy every day out of gratitude for giving him a home. During a meal, Yerim wondered why Kim Sung-han wasn't around delivering ginseng like before. Our boy calmly informed her that he had gone on a raid with Yoo-hyun. But the peaceful breakfast was once again interrupted when the doorbell rang, heralding the appearance of a familiar, spine-chilling figure at the door. The visitor was none other than Hang Guild's notoriously strict HR director, Shim Young-suk. With a professional smile, he notified our boy that his hunter orientation training was about to start, and he was there to pick him up personally. And so, our boy, Yerim, and Myung-woo, under the guidance of this smiling tiger of a director, changed into uniform work clothes and arrived at the dark, oppressive entrance of a cave. Director Suk casually announced their first training objective: eliminate all the monsters in front of them. The moment he finished speaking, a rumble echoed from the cave depths, as countless pairs of crimson eyes lit up in the darkness. Faced with the overwhelming horde of monsters, Myung-woo couldn't help but protest. What kind of basic training was this? The difficulty seemed utterly ridiculous. Back in the monitoring room, Director Suk was nonchalant, explaining this intensive exposure method was to quickly desensitize them and get them used to the presence of monsters. While the two boys were still trying to adjust, Yerim could contain her excitement no longer. With a shout, she charged forward, a blur of purple lightning, instantly clearing out a massive swath of monsters. Her playful side even surfaced as she skewered a bunch of monsters, asking if they'd be tasty grilled. Our boy could only sigh in exasperation, while Director Suk watched with great interest, noting that this rookie was on a completely different level. The training ground is pure chaos. Myung-woo and his companions are fleeing in terror, barely staying a step ahead of the monster as panic completely takes over. Seeing the panic, our boy steps in with a spear to hold the line. He sternly reminds Myungwoo that a hunter must never abandon their weapon, regardless of the danger. Even though it's just an F-rank monster, it's too much for the non-combatants. Our boy has to intervene once more to wrap up this messy practical session. Watching the exhausted Myungwoo, our boy realizes that direct combat isn't his path. Just then, a new instructor arrives to take over for the theory classes. This woman, Hyun-suk, is the future genius researcher known as Dr. White. Using his past memories, our boy displays enough insight to pique her interest immediately. With his uncanny knowledge, our boy successfully recruits this top-tier talent. Dr. Suk agrees to stay at Haein Guild for her research, securing a massive asset for the team. Meanwhile, the younger brother Yuhyun is dominating in a dungeon. With his fire immunity, clearing out these mutant monsters is nothing more than a routine warm-up. The narrative shifts back to the early days of the dungeons. Humanity evolved from initial shock and fear to harnessing mana stones as a revolutionary new energy source. While the Awakened saved the world from crisis, the deeper mysteries of the dungeons are only just beginning to surface, leaving the future uncertain. In the classroom, the teacher explains the details of rank assignment to the Awakened students. One dark-haired male student rests his chin in his hand, listening to information he already knows full well. The teacher elaborates that skills are unique abilities for each Awakened, showing a chart on her tablet along with an example featuring a specific blonde woman. The classroom dynamic gets more personal, as the dark-haired student gives his lab coat-wearing classmate a surprised look. Meanwhile, in another scene, a young man seems to grow tense for some reason, a close-up showing two hands clasping tightly together. The bespectacled female teacher, misunderstanding his knowledge of skill trends, gets extremely excited and showers him with praise, which only makes our boy sweat more. The scene shifts to what seems like a practical session. A purple-haired boy is undergoing a test. A dark-haired boy and a girl named Yerim appear agitated, and the teacher excitedly holds up a red device. The visuals shift to a series of informational displays: World S-Ranker distribution, dungeon materials, and a roaring orange horned monster, hinting at a shift in focus. Sure enough, the scene cuts to an indoor botanical garden or glass facility. Two young men, one looking much like Yuhyun, face as suddenly appearing fierce fire manticores. Yuhyun immediately flares up, ready to attack. At the critical moment, the other young man, our boy, Yuhyun's brother, acts decisively. He pulls out a chain with a glowing blue gemstone, its brilliant flash causing the ferocious fire monster to flinch back. Unfazed, the monster is instead provoked. With a roar, it leaps through the air towards him in a furious attack. Just as the claws are about to strike, Yuhyun counters head-on with a blast of fire. But our boy immediately shouts a reminder: fire attacks are useless against a fire-immune monster. The monster is too fast. It dodges the flames and instead swats Yuhyun squarely on the head, staggering him, much to the shock of the other young man present. That does it for Yuhyun. Furious, he grabs the feisty little monster and tosses it into a nearby glass enclosure to lock it up. But the young fire manticores is incredibly spirited. Even locked up, it doesn't settle down, quickly trying to climb the enclosure's tree trunk to escape. Faced with this troublesome trophy, Yuhyun's approach is direct. If it can't be tamed, and to prevent it from falling into a rival's hands, it should simply be eliminated. The suggestion to kill it sends a chill through our boy. Consulting his memories of the future, he's certain no one ever managed to tame a monster this powerful. Yet, looking at this vibrant young beast and his own unused keyword ability, a bold idea begins to take root. He doesn't argue with his brother right away. Instead, he first asks about mounts in other guilds. After confirming that high-tier mounts are exceedingly rare, he turns, a meaningful smile appearing on his face. Meanwhile, a narration explains that after monsters became reality, those that could be mounted became highly coveted strategic assets for all major powers. The visuals depict powerful hunters riding fierce mounts into battle. This only strengthens our boy's resolve. He will create his own unique legend. To tame this Hellfire lioness named Peace, our boy Eugene Han reveals his ultimate plan as the perfect caretaker. Not only can it resist fire, but its potential far surpasses all known monsters. Once successful, he'll be able to gift his brother Yuhyun an unrivaled mount. Getting right to work, our guy immediately begins the preparations. Confronted by Peace's aggressive posture, he confidently reveals the first taming secret: food. He prepares a special monster meat food bowl, explaining that this little furball's diet is far from ordinary. However, once they tally up the bill, everyone is stunned. Even just one meal a day would cost 300 million won a month, and over 3.6 billion a year. The astronomical upkeep cost makes even his powerful brother sweat a little. Undeterred by the cost, our guy cheerfully moves to the next step, interactive play. He slides the glass door open, exclaiming, "I love you!" His new keyword. Peace seems to sense the goodwill and comes bounding over. Next up is a classic game of fetch. Our boy claims he has plenty of part-time pet-sitting experience, and that animals love this. He decisively whips the toy, ready to send it soaring into the air. But the next second, it's him who takes off. Peace chomps down on the other end of the rope and sends him spinning like a yo-yo, causing his brother to shout in alarm. This move proves effective. Peace initially snarls at the gem, but after a cautious sniff, it's captivated by the concentrated magical aura, its hostility shifting to curiosity. Seizing the opportunity, our guy kneels and gently offers the gem. Peace accepts the tribute, then happily snuggles and rolls in his arms, even emitting a cute meow. It's a moment that melts Eugene's heart. With the taming complete, Eugene plans to take Peace back to his dorm at the Hunter Academy to raise. This instantly causes a subtle, complex shift in his brother Yuhyun's expression. Yuhyun falls silent, clearly disappointed at his brother moving out and the prospect of not seeing him every day. Myungwoo picks up on this and privately points it out to Eugene, explaining that his brother values family bonds more than anyone. It finally dawns on our guy. He proactively invites his brother, promising to move back in after finishing his basic training and planning a proper grown-up drinking session together. A relieved, genuine smile finally returns to Yuhyun's face. However, the brief moment of peace is cut short. In that instant, a massive blue portal materializes in the city sky. Police sirens wail and panic erupts in the crowd. In the distance, several heavily armed hunters point in shock and confusion, their expressions a mix of disbelief and alarm. A reporter stops our boy and his brother, eagerly asking them to pose for a promotional photo, and even offering his microphone for an interview right there on the street. Facing the camera, the two brothers cooperate by striking poses for the photo, which even showcases their future guildmate, Myungwoo, practicing his legendary forging skills in another shot. Later, preparing for their upcoming dungeon dive, they visit their own guild's armory. Faced with rows of shiny weapons available for free borrowing, the younger brother can barely contain his excitement. However, they soon learn that while the weapons are free to borrow, the potions are only complimentary for registered guild members, a rule that dampens the younger brother's enthusiasm a bit. Just then, the same reporter approaches again, pressing them for comments on their outlook as new recruits of a top-tier guild. Our boy maintains a polite smile, while likely already planning his exit strategy. Thankfully, the dungeon portal manifests in the sky right on time. The younger brother steps in, swiftly dismisses the persistent reporter, and urges his brother to get ready. Meanwhile, the forger in their party gives a thoughtful glance to the enormous side-like weapon. Before entering the dungeon, our boy shows his party a precious teleportation stone, explaining it's their lifeline for emergencies. He reminds them, with all seriousness, that this is an extremely rare and valuable item for a last resort. Inside the dungeon, they are greeted by the breathtaking sight of giant, glowing crystal spires. Yerem and the others, seeing an S-rank dungeon for the first time, can't help but gasp in awe. To secure their surroundings, our boy acts without hesitation. He draws his blade and executes a swift, devastating slash. A trail of brilliant purple energy carves a deep fissure into the ground, instantly clearing a wide swath of the area. Faced with this mishap that stemmed from a lack of wide area attack skills, our boy calmly explains that the first priority in any dungeon is to eliminate potential threats. As for the method, the end result is what truly matters. Next, our boy summons the skill selection interface visible only to him. Using his unique, perfect caretaker ability, he begins to search for the optimal area of effect skill for the Ice Witch, Yerem Park. He encourages Yerem, expressing his confidence that she will soon master a powerful area skill and level up quickly. This goal is not only to strengthen her, but also to boost the overall efficiency of the entire team. No sooner had he spoken, a small argument bubbles up within the party regarding who should be prioritized for protection. Yerem confidently declares she can protect her brother, but this statement immediately draws playful attacks from the others. Watching the heated argument and his brother's stubborn face, our boy is filled with emotion. In his past life, these conflicts were like a wall they could never climb. Amidst the explosions and flickering flames, memories of a tragic past resurface. This time, our boy is determined to use his own strength to rewrite their destiny. While we're busy rebuilding, mysterious watchers have set their sights on the glowing spire. It seems they've finally caught wind of the man who turned back time. Back in the dungeon, our boy is effortlessly taking down monsters. To a seasoned regressor like him, their weaknesses are obvious and easily exploited. Our boy patiently guides Myungwoo, carefully weakening the monsters to their last breath. This kind of handheld leveling provides an incredible sense of security. Hard work pays off as Myungwoo finally hits level 10. Seeing that SS rank blacksmith skill unlock, our boy knows he's just secured the ultimate support. But before they can celebrate, disaster strikes. A sudden surge of killing intent locks onto them, as a boss monster launches a surprise attack. Who would have thought a tiny D-rank dungeon would spawn a boss like this? This massive, horned beast is leaking an aura way beyond the original difficulty level, catching everyone off guard. Just when they thought it was over, the exit gate failed to appear. It turns out the real nightmare was just starting. With a piercing screech, a massive bird engulfed in flame swoops down. Staring down an A-rank caliber threat, our boy is definitely feeling the pressure, but he forces himself to stay focused. Gripping a mana stone, he quickly analyzes the situation to find a way out. This beast is the Gold Beak Nya, a fire attribute aerial predator. Its beak is its deadliest weapon, capable of piercing through almost anything in this open battlefield. In the heat of the moment, our boy calls the shots, telling Yerim to deploy her Frosty Sai. As massive ice crystals surge upward, they finally manage to block the raging flames. With the defense holding steady, our boy signals Yuyun to target the monster's head. As the team's ace, Yuyun transforms into a streak of fire and rockets toward the sky. Utilizing his high flame resistance, Yuyun moves effortlessly through the inferno. He calmly locks onto his target, preparing to deliver a decisive blow at point-blank range. In a single, blinding flash, Yuyun's blade cleaves right through the monster's wings. The crippled bird screams in pain before crashing into the earth with a bone-shaking thud. Looking at the massive crater, our boy remains on high alert. He wonders why Yuyun hasn't used his signature skill yet. Perhaps it's restricted in a lower-ranked dungeon like this. Panic is still in the air as the team screams in chaos. But then, a brilliant blue light erupts. With the Blue Willow's skill finally finding its mark, this frantic battle finally draws to a close. The battlefield is in total chaos. Our boy thinks on his feet, using glowing blue leaves as stepping stones to launch a surprise aerial assault that completely catches his enemies off guard. Facing a wall of flames, our guy pushes through with sheer determination. He tanks the heat as a massive energy beam descends, dealing a devastating blow to his powerful opponent. A massive explosion levels the entire area, sending shockwaves that flip everything upside down. In this life-or-death moment, protecting his comrades is the only way to survive the carnage. As the dust settles, our boy stands weary but victorious. Yuyun rushes to his side in a panic, only finding relief once he sees that his brother is safe, despite the scratches. The others are left speechless by his brilliant tactics, yet our guy is just beaming with joy. Seeing him so genuinely happy after such a brutal fight leaves the elite hunters completely stunned. The post-battle exhaustion hits hard, leaving our boy barely able to stand. With his teammates' support, the weary hero is finally able to withdraw and head back for some much-needed recovery. Back at the apartment, our boy is greeted by the comforts of home and an over-enthusiastic peace. Despite the rough tackle hug, he finally relaxes and collapses onto the floor in peace. But peace is short-lived as our guy begins to reflect on the dungeon's anomalies. He can't help but wonder if his time travel has unintentionally triggered some dangerous new variables in this world. Our boy is venting his frustration at the system's lack of clarity. But just as he's complaining, a mysterious new interface suddenly flickers to life before him. Staring at the new custody interface, our boy is left speechless. 50 blank slots? It looks like the system is setting him up to be a full-time guardian. With the new skill unlocked, it's time to train. Under the influence of the breeder skill, Little Peace is growing rapidly, doubling in size in just 2 days. While marveling at the power of this S-rank skill, our boy realizes that his ability to tame top-tier monsters alone would cause an absolute stir among the major guilds. But training is exhausting work. Even as a juvenile, Peace is a handful, leaving our boy's gear in shambles, and him completely wiped out on the floor. Suddenly, Director Sook appears. The man who was once so arrogant has done a complete 180, approaching our boy with applause and a respectful bow. Director Sook's sudden fanatical energy is terrifying. He's so desperate to recruit our boy that his enthusiastic embrace is practically choking him out. At the negotiating table, our boy stays cool, surprising everyone by asking to join as general staff instead of a hunter. While casually petting a docile piece, he lays down his terms, leaving Director Sook completely baffled by his unconventional approach. Our boy knows he's now the goose that lays golden eggs, and every guild wants a piece. To survive among these titans, he skillfully uses peace as leverage, trading exclusive rights for the guild's full protection and securing his own safety. Director Sook tries to sneakily record Peace's training for promotion, but nothing gets past our boy. Though he catches the director's little scheme, he just smiles and lets it slide, knowing that his high-stakes gamble has only just begun. The world is finally noticing the F-class brother who lived in the shadows. Director Sook realizes that our boy's unique skills have made him the center of a storm, bringing him both unprecedented perks and dangerous hidden threats. As news of Peace and the mysterious Razor spreads, S-class guild masters are taking notice. Powerful figures like Hyun Sung and Hyuna Moon are intrigued by the man who tamed an S-class beast and are planning to visit Han personally. Back at the dorms, our boy builds a cozy nest for Peace. Just then, Yerim bursts in and tries to cuddle the adorable beast, only to be met with a growl from the protective kitty. Our boy quickly steps in to play the peacemaker. The peace is short-lived as a bombshell drops. The leaders of the big three guilds are already on their way. Though Yu-Yun wants to shield his brother from the pressure, our boy knows he can't hide forever and decides to face them head-on. Facing his overprotective brother, our boy asserts his authority as the elder, silencing Yu-Yun with a firm stance. For the guild's future, he chooses to meet these legendary S-class figures personally. A high-level showdown is about to begin. Surrounded by guild leaders, our boy is breaking a sweat as his resist fear skill works overtime. Suddenly, one of the officials asks to see his hand, clearly trying to use a skill to probe his secrets. Sensing his master's unease, Peace bristles and gets ready to pounce. Even though the sudden pressure has our guy's heart racing, he knows that showing even a hint of weakness before these monsters would be fatal. That's when Moon Hyuna, the charismatic guild master, makes her entrance, playfully calling our boy the monster tamer. Despite her bright smile, her wild S-rank aura has him screaming internally. The meeting quickly devolves into a heated dispute over future high-tier monster cubs. Seeing these elite guild leaders bicker like they're at a flea market, our guy feels incredibly small and helpless sitting in the middle. To regain control, our boy firmly states his position. He isn't exclusive to the Han Guild. His services are open to everyone. This move highlights his independent value and quiets the suspicions about him favoring his brother. However, Moon Hyuna seems more interested in his looks, reaching out to pinch his cheek while calling him a pretty boy. Trapped by her overwhelming enthusiasm, our guy can only maintain a forced smile while thinking about how eccentric S-rankers truly are. Then, the silent Sung Hyun drops a bombshell, asking if he can just buy out our boy. His inscrutable gaze ramps up the pressure. After all, this is Korea's top-ranked hunter, and one wrong move could mean being totally manipulated. Facing pressure like that of a deep-sea leviathan, our boy tactfully declines the offer. He may look composed on the surface, but he knows that without his resist fear skill, he would have suffocated under their sheer intensity long ago. Our boy is genuinely praising his brother for being docile and kind. To everyone else, this is hilarious since they only know Yu-Hyun as a cold-blooded S-rank hunter. Lost in nostalgia, our boy recalls how Yu-Hyun always looked out for him during their hard times. Through his big brother lens, the fierce hunter is just a sweet, well-behaved kid. This delusional take causes the guild leaders to burst into uncontrollable laughter. Our boy gets super defensive, ready to fight anyone who mocks his precious little brother. Arguments aside, the top guilds are offering our boy a whole building in downtown Seoul for monster breeding. Looking at the contract, he's absolutely staggered by the sheer scale of the deal. He quickly takes back every bad thing he thought about these people. Owning prime real estate in Seoul under the protection of 5 major guilds? That's the ultimate retirement plan right there. While petting Peace, our boy starts dreaming of his future as a landlord. He plans to set up workshops for his allies and live a life of comfort without ever having to lift a finger again. The meeting wraps up successfully. Our boy praises Peace for being such a good kitty while looking out over the city lights. Everything is finally falling into place exactly as he planned. Our boy is treated to an incredible feast prepared by Myungwoo. Seeing how much his cooking is appreciated, Myungwoo looks absolutely thrilled, feeling like his life is finally on the right track. The mood shifts when our boy mentions moving to a new building. Myungwoo immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion, thinking he's being kicked out for being useless, and starts breaking down in tears. Realizing Myungwoo is drowning in self-doubt, our boy drops the big news. It's not an eviction. It's a chance to unlock a legendary SS rank skill by sharpening 10,000 knives. To make the tedious task sound more official, our guy cleverly uses Dr. Sook's name as cover, claiming this homework is a top-secret training method for unlocking hidden potential. Meanwhile, the real Dr. Sook is buried under a mountain of paperwork back at the lab. She's completely exhausted and has no idea our boy is using her reputation to motivate his new apprentice. Back in the kitchen, our boy hands over a bag of knives to start the training. As the first blade is sharpened, a system counter pops up, proving to a stunned Myungwoo that this plan might actually work. Learning he could change his destiny in just 100 days, Myungwoo's motivation hits dangerous levels. He looks so intense that our guy nervously asks him to put the knife down for a second. After handling Myungwoo, our boy is back at it, discussing dungeon theories with Dr. Sook. She's clearly impressed, but our exhausted guy is internally screaming that he just wants to go home. This woman, Dr. Hyun Sook, is a genius who headed to the States in the future. To keep such a brilliant mind in Korea, our boy knows he needs to start making moves right now. When it comes to teleportation, the legendary hunter Dakibi is unmatched. Whether rescuing folks from dungeon breaks or slipping into high-security vaults, it's as easy as breathing for them. Speak of the devil, Dakibi appears in a flash. Dancing through a hail of bullets, they leave the villain spinning while snatching up their darkest secrets like it's nothing. Back to the present, while our boy is chatting with the doctor, the lights suddenly cut out. As they reach for their phones, they have no idea a creepy shadow is looming right behind them. A sudden ghostly prank sends the doctor straight into a faint, but our boy doesn't even flinch. Thanks to his fear-resistant skill, he stays cool as a cucumber while everything else descends into chaos. The trickster finally reveals himself, apologizing awkwardly while staring at the one man who didn't scream. Our boy checks the stats and realizes this is exactly the ultimate support he's been looking for. Facing this wild hunter who hates being tied down, our boy flashes a knowing smirk. If he can win over Dakibi, not only can he keep the doctor in Korea, but he can reshape the entire future. But as his plans fall into place, a wave of exhaustion hits him like a truck. This mental chess game is proving to be just as draining as any real-life battle. After Dr. Hyun wakes up terrified of the ghost, our boy calmly reassures her that the danger is past. To recruit this genius researcher, he patiently begins to win over her trust. Realizing Dr. Hyun is struggling with a lack of research data, our boy plays his trump card. He offers her the rare dungeon info she needs as leverage to join his side. Flashing back to the contract signing, our boy is dealing with the mischievous ghost. Despite mocking him for being F rank, the ghost eventually falls right into our boy's clever negotiation trap. Using his past life knowledge and cool nerves, our boy secures a 20-year contract. He completely outmaneuvers the arrogant spirit, leaving him confused yet bound to the deal. After securing the ghost, our boy shows off his intel power to Dr. Hyun. He accurately predicts the environment of an unsealed A-rank dungeon, leaving the genius doctor totally stunned. To fully cement her loyalty, our boy advises her family to secure the dungeon's management rights. Watching the doctor process this bombshell, it's clear his recruitment plan is working perfectly. After leaving the hospital, life gets interesting. To win their bet, the ghost tries constant sneak attacks to scare our boy, even popping up while he's busy feeding peace. However, with his top-tier fear-resistant skill, these horror movie tactics fail miserably. Whether it's claws from the floor or heads in the fridge, our boy barely even blinks. Suddenly, a creepy blue light flickers as a distorted, red-eyed monster lunges at our boy. With its claws out and a chilling laugh, it looks ready to tear him apart in the darkness. The scene shifts back to our boy standing in his room, cup in hand. He's a bit sweaty but holding it together. He starts to admit the spook was actually decent, but the atmosphere quickly takes another turn. The horrors keep coming. A bloody-faced woman swings a knife, while a skeletal figure chases behind in a purple glow. Even with his high resistance, our boy looks genuinely startled by these non-stop jump scares. The nightmare intensifies as a normal man turns hostile, and a woman warps into a spider-like creature. Caught off guard by the transformation, our boy stumbles back in a panic. Can he stay cool as the chaos peaks?